Welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. I'm here doing the October reading for Aquarius. This is anybody with Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising Venus. If you're being affected by the Uranus retrograde, which is, I guess, is it in Capricorn? No, wait, no, it's in Taurus. Uranus retrograde in Taurus. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Everybody else is in Capricorn. So if you're feeling the effects of Uranus retrograde, you've got the Sun, Moon, Venus, or Ascendant in Aquarius, or you're cross-watching, or you feel compelled to see this, this is the reading for you. The reading I'm doing is called Roadblock Moguls. It's a reading that I have. It's $37 if you get one for yourself. But I'm doing it with charms, so that would make it a $44 reading because I add charms to any reading for $7. So what I'm doing here is I have 4 columns. The first column is Wands energy, which is sort of like a directive, a core energy, desire, and I have a column for Cups energy, which is going to be, it's a double there. Okay, I guess that one's that way. It's going to be feelings and psychic intuition and stuff like that. And that's not right. That's not, I feel like that's right either. The third column is Swords energy, which is going to be thoughts and perspective. It also has to do with shifts in consciousness. No. The fourth column is Pentacles energy, and that's going to be money, resources, the physical body, or manifestation. Here's the chain. Now, I've also got 3 rows. The first row here is like a 5D squared. It's like your higher self, but your higher self in collusion with other higher self bodies in your soul group. So it's like a class that's working on a project, and everybody has their own little part. So you go off in your little separate areas, and this second row is the 5D, which is once you've got your part of the work. That's sort of like the group goal of the soul group, and this is where the communication breakdown happens, is in the cross between the 5D and the other one. So the third row is the 3D. It's like what you're picking up on in your day-to-day reality, like what part of the message is being trickled down. So this is like what is the main goal, what you're picking up on, and what's causing the block to understanding the information. Like what's the gremlin in the ghost in the machine there? It's the clog in the gears. I think that one's right. Because that one's gonna go sideways. I keep getting more cards than I want here, and I don't know which one to pick. Una más. So in the 5D, this is where the moguls are. That's why there's like a little cascade of 3 cards, and I traditionally like to use the Uno deck for these, but a lot of the time I use the Uno deck for the 3D. But right now it's the moguls. It's going to be the 5D. So this is the Aquarian Tarot. The 3rd time I've used this deck today. And then for the 3D, I'm using my music deck that I made for myself, which is not for sale, but if you want it, I will give you the PDF for free, because I scabbed these images and I don't own them, so I'm not able to sell it. And it's mostly just for me. But you can always have one if you want. You need 10 pages of cardstock to print your own. And I usually have an oracle card to finish out the reading, but I was compelled to use the Syrian Starseed Tarot here instead of one of my oracle decks, so I feel like that needs to stay in a challenge position. And I'm going to check the focus on this in a minute. And I'll get some charms out. Here is the charm. Thank God I'm getting some I haven't seen already this week. It's starting to shake them up real good and still get the same 5 things. I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. Thank God. Capricorn had like half the charms in the box. It took me an hour and a half to do it. Alright, so Aquarius. Let me check my focus. I need a easier to use camera setup, but gotta work with what I have right now, 'cause I'm poor. There we go. Is that? I can't friggin' tell. I'm getting a headache. I think that's roughly in focus. Okay. So put these charms actually onto a card before I start. Okay. So for the Wands energy in the 5D, we have the King of Swords. Okay. So this is like a deep contemplation of what the life purpose is. We're actively participating in the management of truth, the wielding of truth. And I also have the lily here, which has to do with like organic growth within the confines of cosmic space. Okay. Now the king can be a 1 or a 14, so we have balance. We have this reducing to unity, the truth, and also the idea of the number 5, which is a shift or a pivot. Right? It's like we're wielding the truth, and that is our main task, is to bring it in somehow and achieve some kind of organic growth of balance in thoughts and communication in regard to the truth itself. So what's my King of Swords energy here? Okay, so we have Capricorn and Aquarius energy, which makes sense. We're dealing with like a new precipice of communication, right? I'm doing work in the way that things are communicated. Uranus energy is that consciousness aspect, and then Capricorn is that Saturn energy, which is that master tasking. And I'm not surprised to see the king coming out with that Aquarian energy. It's also the sort of like the fool has gained control of the kingdom that he landed in. So this is the directive of this group. Now, this is the Aquarius reading, which is interesting because Aquarius is coming out as sort of the king of their own domain here as well. So let's see what's coming down into the 3D from this group directive. 3 of Swords, uninvited. We lost a few swords here. 11 whole swords are missing from our pile. So this is heartbreak. I'm trying to be in my truth, but all I'm getting is like eviscerated. Getting disemboweled always makes me kind of mad. You're uninvited, an unfortunate slight. Alright, so this is a picture of Alanis Morissette from the MTV Live Unplugged album, which was fucking epic. Okay. 3 of Swords energy. Saturn in Libra. Okay, so we still have that Capricornian energy, and we still have that aspect of balance. But here it's almost like I'm hearing truth without tact, which is sometimes the Page of Swords, which is the 11 that's missing. It's like I have no way of initiating conversation about this imbalance in my three-dimensional world. Now in the middle here, the 5D, and what the blockage is, I have the sugar bowl. Right? It's like I want something to be sweeter, which is interesting because I have sugar and then a flower here. This idea of sweetness and perfume, but here it's coming out sour. So I have 7 of Wands, defense mode, 8 of Swords inverted. So this is the I want to break free card, and having it upside down means that this is the active mode of breaking out. Like I'm breaking out of jail as we speak. And then I have the King of Cups in reverse, which is funny because it says reverse on it. But this is a King upright, and now I have a King inverted, right? In French it's roi. So we have royal, which is where the name Roy comes from in English. Roi Verge. King of Wands energy is Cancer and Leo. So we have, not only do we have the opposite of the King of Swords, but it's inverted. And here we're picking up this I'm in my feelings. And I'm in the dark here as well. I'm having a dark night of the soul moment, trying to get out of this mental prison of I am in pain. Now notice 8 and 3 is 11. This could be a 1 or a 5. 5 and 8, 13. That's a death rebirth cycle. And I have 5 and 7, 12. That's Hanged Man energy, although the 7 is the only thing upright here. I see 8 and 7. I see 15. I see Capricornian energy, the devil. 7 is Mars and Leo. So we might be having some problems with this Mars retrograde energy. Mars retrograding in Aries. Because I see this Leo opposition to Leo. 8 of Swords energy is Jupiter in Gemini. Okay, so we have air energy here, and we're coming out in September, because this reading is for October. In September, Jupiter in mid-month went direct. Gemini is currently the north node. Sagittarius currently the south node. And I have this sort of infinity symbol. Cancer. King of Cups. Libra and Scorpio. Okay, so there's Libra. Libra. So I have Gemini, I have Aquarius, I have Libra. All within the scope of these energies here. 7. Mars energy. Now what's interesting is I have a King of Swords and a King of Cups, and what is this but swords through a heart normally? I want to sweeten the deal. Mentally, I'm able to come out of what's upsetting me. Emotionally, I'm still on the defense. I'm having a hard time letting down my guard. It's like I wasn't prepared for how deep the emotional content was here. It's easier for me to stay in my thoughts. But the movement is tied to the emotional aspect. I'm hung up on being open with my feelings, so I'm out of balance, I'm reactive with my feelings, and the net result is that I'm only getting a little bit further along in where I want to be with the swords that I have. I want 14 swords, but I can only get 8 even in the 5D. I need to... I can't get through this blockage unless I open up emotionally. And this is coming in like the desire, right? I desire to be out of this mental, emotional torture. But we do have an anchoring of this 7 of Wands here, which is interesting because it's half of the 14, right? I'm halfway there if I've sort of pulled myself up and standing up for what I believe in. Right? I believe in getting my mind straight, but I'm having trouble getting my emotions in the same tack. So let's see what's going on in this emotional stream here. So we have a double, sort of hemming and hawing between thoughts and emotions, maybe. So we have the Hermit inverted and the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords to me is a lower vibration of the High Priestess. And the Hermit is in Virgo energy, which is like a junior miss version of the Empress for me, like the inner child. Queen of Swords, lower vibration of Justice, which is a little bit lower vibration of the High Priestess. And then the Hermit at 9 is a little bit lower vibration, kind of the Empress, but also with this aspect of the Magician. Because it's sort of like a wise old man. It's like I'm going within to nurture myself in this grounded Virgo energy, but there's also this aspect of air because Virgo is actually ruled by Mercury, which is in Libra right now, which is sort of the next step up from the Queen of Swords. It's like I want to ground and balance my inner world, but I'm struggling to nurture myself. Queen of Swords. Wow, Virgo and Libra. So it's like a double down, double dose, double down. And of course, Mercury in Libra starting in September. And then Venus ruling Libra in Leo right now. But I don't see Sun energy. I see this... unless you say that the Hermit is coming out into the light, as like a 9 being a half moon inverted, it would be sort of like half sun kind of daybreak moment perhaps trying to happen here. But the general idea is I need to have this, I need to open myself up and ground myself in my own energy enough so that I can open myself up to this sort of psychic download and being able to read people to know what I should do, if I should just, try to come up with creative solutions or just be like, no, I'm okay, I don't want to be near you, because it will break open this energy here of the 3 of Swords. What's interesting is that King of Swords in the directive, Queen of Swords in the emotions. So there's this matched pair of almost Empress and Emperor energy, but specifically in the air element of Aquarius. And it's like the sun center, the sun, Leo, is masculine in the solar energy. And then in the cups energy, we have this feminine energy coming in, but it's a matched set. It's like, if I can get my core energy and my heart sorted out, I'm going to, be able to, like, one-stop shop, run my entire communication conglomerate or something like that. Like, I'm ready to be unified in my energies, in my masculine and my feminine, my inner and outer energies, my dark and my light, and I can communicate more effectively, I can intuit more correctly, I can innovate, I can raise consciousness, I can have this illumination from within. Okay, now what's interesting is down here in the 3D I have this UFO, which gives that sort of intergalactic notion that you might get from that Uranus Aquarian energy. But I also, this is sort of my chariot charm, the mode of transportation, and I see it as relating to this Seven of Wands here. Chariot is the Chariot card is ruled by the moon. 7 here is ruled by the sun. So I'm getting this sun, sun, moon, moon kind of thing here. Well, let's see what this card is. The 6 of Swords. Okay, so this is inverted. Song on here is Bohemian Rhapsody. I have this stream of Freddy's here from the clip from the video. Now, when the 6 of Swords is inverted, energy here, Mercury in Aquarius. Okay, so Mercury is in Libra right now, and then Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which is related to Venus as well. 6 and 3 is 9, 9. This could be 13, that's transformation, death cycle. 6 and 7, also 13. 8 and 6, 14. And this is also a lunar 5. See, 11. And 6, 17, the star, which is also Aquarius. Now, when the 6 of Swords, which is usually somebody sailing away from the bullshit on a boat, when it's inverted, it tells me we need to go deeper. We're going into the underworld. We're getting into that scorpionic death energy. Now, Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. I think that one goes direct on October 4th, but I'm not sure. So just for a little bit. But I do get this idea of I'm leveling up to a point where I can take a look and consciously go deeper. We're gonna take the trip of the magic school bus inside my deepest, darkest secrets. Okay, so in the middle, I knew I was going to get a knight. So this is a knight, and I'm going to have to get another card to find out which one it is. But notice, my other cards are 13. 7 of Cups inverted, which is ideal, and then I have 6 of Pentacles inverted. 7 of Cups is Venus in Scorpio. Okay, so that follows the same energies. It's inverted, right? We need to go deeper. Half 13, but also still 13. 6 of Pentacles, if I could talk. The moon in Taurus. So Venus energy inverted, telling me sun energy, Venus is in Leo, which is something we already knew. 7 of Cups is that distractions, distortions, confusion kind of a card. So here it's like I'm returning these gifts to the store because I don't like them. I'm not going to regift this crap to somebody else. So let me get another card to find out what knight I have here. Knight of 1,000 Eyes. Okay. Interesting. So I have this, the Knight here came with this Ace of Cups. So I have the Knight of Cups who's holding the Ace of Cups. But what's interesting is that when I was trying to put the cards back in this pile straight, the Page of Cups also came out, which is a 1 or an 11. And it's like this, it gives me this idea that this, it's like, I'm really a page, but I got my hands on the Ace of Cups, and now I have 12, so I'm banging the 2 cups together like 2 empty halves of coconuts, and it sounds like I'm coming in on a horse. Which is kind of stupid, but it's funny. So I have this 11-12 shift. So if I were getting cards out of a playing card deck, this would be a Jack, right? It would be sort of ambiguous. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, right? We're going in for the cups. He's going the distance. He's going for speed. Knight. Page Knight. Knight Page. Page Knight. But sort of like turning the page on the dark night of the soul in an essence. But I feel like this, it's sort of like we're in the process of seeing this night. I was like, we're not in the king level, but we're hitting a 13, and it's causing us to pull up from this. I'm just starting out, and I just went down there and I saw some shit. So I've got 6 and 6 here, 12 the night. I went down into my own self and I just saw a bunch of shit, and now I'm like riding out into this daybreak, like squinting a little bit, but I got like Harrison Ford there, like coming out of the cave with the Holy Grail. Indiana Jones, there we go. Thank y'all. So if I could remember stuff. Okay, so let's see what's going on with all these other swords here. Let's see what's coming in the actual sword's energy slot. The Seed of Life over here. Planting something. Let me plant this thought in your head. 5 of Pentacles. Intriguing. Interesting. Not expecting. Oh, of course, though, but it's Mercury and Taurus. Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Mercury in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, who rules also Taurus. I feel like Mercury in Libra. So Gemini is missing, but there's 2 people here. Oh, Mercury rules Gemini. Okay, so all the air signs are in here. It's like I'm getting this idea of like 3 is a crowd, right? Like Venus can only entertain so many guests at once, and it's like Venus is up here. She's got like a 3-way going on with Uranus, with Aquarius and Libra, and then Gemini comes in is like, oh, am I too late? And they're like, well, we don't really have room for you, bruh. And then whatever other energies coming through, like Virgo energy is like, yeah, we don't have time for you either right now. And then there's like Gemini and Virgo over here, like, oh man, we missed out on this orgy over here. I don't know why that's coming to mind. It's kind of weird. But it's sort of like the energy that I'm getting with this card is like FOMO. Fear of missing out. Like there's some party getting started and I'm not invited. Like, what the hell is this? Like, in my own kingdom, I'm not invited to this party? This is some bullshit right here. So, the 5 here is kind of answering the 5 over here and over here, right? Because a king can break down to a 5. But a 5 is also a shift or a pivot. It's also ultimately that Hierophant number, which goes back into Venus energy again. So I see this, it's like, if your directive is to be the lord and master of your domain, then there's some thought process about, do you have to be involved in every little detail of every little thing? It's like, I'm left out of this plan for this new thing. Like, I didn't authorize that. Like, what the crap? Like, there's something that there's this directive that says, when you manifest something, there's a certain point where you have to delegate to those in your kingdom or delegate to the universe at large. If you're constantly looking in the window at your little seed over here and trying to see what all the other energies at play are doing, you're going to feel like you're going to feel put out no matter what. And it's saying, this directive is saying, you need to address these thoughts in order to get to these, the king and queen of the thought domain. So let's see how it's coming in the 3D. 9 of Pentacles inverted. So what's interesting is we go from I'm feeling left out in the manifestation to I'm not getting my full crop here. This is, I'm like waiting and waiting for all my shit to grow and nothing's happening. Right? This is like a half of a nightmare. This was my dream, was to make all this nice stuff. This is called my favorite color. It was like an amalgam thing of a bunch of different YouTubes. But it's like, you know, I was like, I ordered something else. I thought I planted like rhubarb, and now I have Brussels sprouts, and I can't make a fucking Brussels sprouts pie. This is some bullshit right here. Well, if you weren't well, I was gonna say something, but I don't think it's really relevant. 9 of Pentacles energy is Venus in Virgo. Now it's interesting that this is coming in inverted. Because 9 of Pentacles is like a lower vibration of the Empress. And then the Empress is there in her, like her inner child level, but inverted. If I micromanage everything, then everything I try to grow will wither and die. It's like this, like crone energy. Like everything I do turns to shit in the not fertilizing kind of way. Now here I have the teacup inverted. I had this idea of depression. Right? This doesn't taste good cold. I almost feel like what's happening here is I'm psyching myself out because I haven't gotten to manifestation yet. I'm thinking constantly about what I'm gonna get, to the point where now I'm psyching myself out and I'm like getting coffee jitters before I go anywhere. Let me see what's coming in the crossroads here. Alright, so I have Six of Wands inverted. This is Jupiter in Leo, but it's upside down. So it's giving me moon energy with Jupiter plus the moon. And then I have Nine of Wands here, which is the moon in Sagittarius. So these cards are actually doing the exact same thing, and they even look the same in this position. Moon in Sagittarius energy, moon in Sagittarius energy. Having a dark night of the soul kind of moment. And then I have Four of Pentacles here. The sun in Capricorn. So I have two moons and then the sun here. But this is the, like, I don't know what to let go of, I don't know what to keep kind of energy. It's the world is not enough in my music deck. And I see Sagittarius here twice. The Jupiter currently in Capricorn, and then we have Capricorn here. And it's like, why isn't anybody paying attention to me? I should be the center of my own little friggin' world here. And I'm like, nobody's even looking at me. What the hell's going on here? Like, I don't know what to do. And it's weird because all of these this whole column here that's supposed to be thoughts and perceptions is all worrying about manifestation and what am I getting, what am I not getting, it's almost like it's like the thoughts are wrapped up in materialism to an extent, but it's more like I want to be noticed. But it's like I can't be noticed unless my materials look good. But, and notice how the difference here, 5 and 4, is the 9 down here. But this should be a 1. If I'm supposed to understand this message over here, I should have a 1 here. But I have 9 and 4, that's 13. That's a death and transformative cycle. I have 6 here, that brings it up to 19, which is the sun again, breaking down to 10, which is the wheel, which is fire, which is Sagittarius energy. 9 and 5 is 14, balance, breaking down to a 5 again, plus the 10, 15, Capricorn devil energy. So it's like I'm trying to work through this feeling of needing to micromanage my manifestation, but I'm sort of chained to this concept that I feel like I'm in the dark, but I should be like somebody put threw a carpet over me and wouldn't let me be seen. You know, six of Wands in the upright is like, look at me, I'm famous, bitches, I win, I'm the cock of the walk. And it's like, I'm not getting what I want. Desire energy, which sort of harkens back to here. And notice I have 6 and 9, 15, and the 8 and 7 is 15. It's like, mentally, I'm trying to break out of it. And I'm struggling against my own desire to be, like, the king of my environment. But it's like the way for Aquarius to do that is to be balanced in their thought processes and their emotional output in terms of internal and external. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with this grindstone of Uranus retrograde. Now what's interesting is that it's retrograding in an earth sign, but we're getting all this Capricornian energy to go with the Jupiter Sagittarian energy. Okay, so the charms that came out, I have this club here in reverse. This is one of my Ace of Wands charms. And it's like, I can't I can't seem to grasp that torch in the dark to get through this night energy. Like nighttime energy. At the upright, I have the narwhal, which is a little bit like... I was going to say like the Ace of Swords, but it's a little bit like the Queen of Swords, because we have somebody that's fully in the water, like this feminine kind of energy, but it has a sword on it. And this idea of sonar, of psychic ability, which is usually attached to queens. But we have two very pointy phallic things here as well. And I almost get this like... it's like you can't have two dicks in one castle. Right? Somebody has to be the king, somebody has to be the queen. Or it's like you can't hold on to... You can hold on to your dick or you can hold on to your sword, but you can't hang on to both at the same time. If you want to achieve something... I'm not sure entirely what that's supposed to mean, but that's what I'm getting. And I have the dodecahedron. So this is the concept of the number 5, of pentagons, pentacles, but also the number 12. Now 5 and 12, the alternate numbers break down to 17, which is Aquarius. Now 17 does break down to 8, which has to do with strength and justice, which is interesting, but it all has to do with this sort of like hopes and dreams and cosmic kind of energy, and not necessarily grounded. But the dodecahedron here, I get this idea of a soccer ball. Like you can knock your idea back and forth, but there's, no matter what you do, there's always going to be some black and some white in there. Everything is not as cut and dried as you want it to be. It's not I'm in or out. It's I need to let the energy expand on its own a little bit more. Again, this idea of micromanaging, which could be a really, really offensive joke there as well. Let's look at the manifestation. Look at this hand on here. It's like this little hand holding this giant card here. This also has a ring on it, which could do with like commitment, or if it meant to be taken that way. But sometimes I feel like it's a little bit more like Smeagol. Okay, I want the precious. King of Cups. Interesting. I feel like this is out of sync. It's so weird. So here's the King of Cups in reverse over here in this, like, I desire mogul thing. And it's almost like you're supposed to have emotional balance and rule the kingdom of resources and manifestation through charity and warmth and giving. After understanding that there's some things that you need to let go of, right? I'm not going to rule my manifestation with like my meat hooks. I'm going to be in tune with the waters. And we can see that over here in the emotional with this knight, with the page trying to level up to the knight in a hurry. I'm not quite coming down in the physical, but the fact that the King of Cups is here and here with this transitional phase in the middle trying to happen in the higher self of the heart center is indicating that there's supposed to be some sort of like emotional expansion into the material world, right? I value things that create an energetic flow, and I protect people not by giving them fancy things, but by increasing their consciousness and their emotional stability. My commitment to others is to give them a hand, but not give them a hand out. 6 of Pentacles, charity. Interesting. It's like the hand that holds the cup. How's that translating in the 3D? Seven of Swords. Wow. Okay, Midnight Creeper. And every time I see this, I can't remember how the song goes, even though it's like one of my favorite songs off the album. So Seven of Swords, the moon in Aquarius. So we saw moon energy here, and it's inverted. So I'm getting sun energy, but coming in on Venus with Uranus retrograde in Taurus in that same sort of realm. Seven of Swords is usually like sneaky, undermined behavior. Like I understand that I need to stop undermining every little thing you try to do with my micromanaging or nitpicking and demands and things like that. Like, I'm not going to try to steal what I can from you because I'm supposed to be secure in my own emotions and giving. Now, what's interesting is I have Three of Swords here, which is like a cross of cups and swords, and then I see that over here in the material world as well, and I keep seeing this Nine of Pentacles here and this Seven of Swords here, and I feel like this is supposed to, like, these go together, like, oughtn't they be switched? But it's a Tower moment, which is also fire, which is Mars energy, which is currently retrograde in Aries. So there is this idea of, there's part of this here is actually ego, based on I'm going to be wounded if I'm not managing every single aspect of my life and manifestation and resources and things like that. You know, like, I need to make sure that I'm like fucking jacked and like at the gym every day, because my body has no value if it's, you know, if I can't be like, you didn't think I was that old, did you? That's a sample, like an example though. That's not like everybody. It's like business or romance or physical fitness or anything like that. So in the middle here, the disconnect. Queen of Wands in the challenge position. Pisces and Aries energy. All right. So it's giving me that Mars retrograde in Aries, trying to get out of it a little bit. And then also Pisces, which is Neptune retrograde, which I think is until November. So that's not happening yet, but it's sort of like I can feel the shift, but I want to get out of doing this masculine, conflicty, negotiating Mars energy, because it's not comfortable. And I have the Queen of Pentacles upright. Interesting. And the Eight of Cups inverted. Right, I'm trying to get out of it. I don't want to have to give up these sour emotions yet. Eight of Cups. Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so 2 retrograde planets still, making the 8 there. One bigger, one slightly smaller. I see SS, it seems Saturn. Right, I want to skip this turn. I don't want to have to do this conflict inner work. I don't want to have to let go of stuff unless it's letting go emotionally, right? Part of the reason that the King of Cups over here isn't getting balance emotionally is because he's not letting anybody in. Well, he's not letting anybody out either. And we see 8 and 7 here, 15, 8 and 7 here, 15, the same problem. So the charms that I got over here, I have the telephone, it was inverted. And I have the waste paper basket, which was also inverted, right? I don't want to have to make the call on what I'm getting rid of emotionally in order to get this Seven of Swords inverted to get into this, okay, I can understand the manifestations of my physical world from this sort of intuitive, nurturing point of view, to where I can level up to this idea of, okay, now I've mastered my emotions as well as how I communicate with people, right? Because if your emotions aren't balanced, then you're gonna have out of balance communication as well. So I see this now. I see a lot of masculine and feminine energy here. So it's coming together partly because Venus is so tied up in everybody else right now, and partly because of this fire energy that's sort of kind of like in I have to do another segment anyway. It's like on a school playground. You have Mars and Aries facing off with each other. They're the same person, right? It's the self and the ego, the self and the inner child, the self and the higher self, whatever. And they're in a face-off duel. They're cutting heads. And Leo's over here, and Sagittarius is over here, and they're like, fight, 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 egging the other fire on, which is where this Wands energy is coming from. But the point is here that Aries is the Emperor energy, and we see 2 kings here, and I see 3 queens here. And I would almost hope that this card is going to be the King of Wands or the King of Pentacles. I don't know what it is yet, though. Because the energy here is like trying to level up fully to Emperor and Empress level, but the way that Aquarius has to do that is by stabilizing their swords, which is why we see both of the swords royals here, right? You have to be stable in your own element before you can try to branch out, but we see part of every element here, which is kind of interesting. But this directive is like, let go of so much control over the manifestation or how things look in your material world, right? It's like appearances can be deceiving, right? What looks like a good deal might blow into dust as soon as you try to pick it up and have some kind of emotional, energetic substance to it. It's just, you know, it's like a dead battery when you go to pick it up. There's no energy. Now over here on this wrap-up slash substitute oracle card, I have this tree here. And what's interesting is that I have the seed of life over here. And I feel like this is going to explain where this growth comes from, right? Because we're talking about growth and expansion here. This kind of reminds me of the brain stem and the brain a little bit, or the nervous system, but I have a different charm for the nervous system. This is in the challenge position. We have the Ten of Flames here. Saturn and Sagittarius. Okay. Both of these planets are going to be direct, right? Saturn and Jupiter are going to be direct in Capricorn for October. But I feel like the challenge here is answering this Five of Pentacles and these other fives. It's like, this work that you're being forced to do isn't as much of a burden as you think. When you start to shift, right, 5 and another 5 gives the 10. It's the wheel, right? It's the turning, low vibration of the wheel, especially because we're already in the flame suit, right? I didn't get the king, but I got a 10. So there's this idea that something is moving, right? We're going to start achieving some growth. I think, is that it? Let me get one more card. I don't feel done yet. I always feel weird when the reading stops in the middle of a sentence. I'm going to try to do another reading before my thing that I have going on in an hour and 45 minutes, but I don't know if I have time because this just took me an hour. I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Okay. So I have one over here, and I have one that flipped over. So here is the Emperor. I would say sort of in a challenge position also, but this isn't the main card that came out. But notice that we have this here, Reason, right? I'm going to pick up vibes from other people, and then I'm going to think about those objectively in order that I can have full reason. And notice that these platonic solids came out. I'm going to have the dodecahedron over here. So I'm going to put him back. Now this other card, the Three of Cups. Okay. Mercury in Cancer. So the ultimate result here is I'm going to celebrate the end of my burden by having an actual transformation. Fire and water. My next step after transformation is 14, which is balance, this king number, right? I'm getting the growth that I need. I'm going to hit that ceiling pretty soon. Right? And we saw that there was a 4 trying to come out, but it wasn't quite there yet. This is, I'm having a good time in public. Not everybody's worshiping me. It's we're all equal in our celebration. Okay, so I think it's almost like in order for the knight to get the horse, in order for the page to get the horse, to make it to the king, to ride to the castle and claim it, you have to get off your high horse before you get the horse, which is a little bit cart before the horse, but still in the idea of chariot energy, because that's the difference between these is a 7. So there's movement and growth available, but it looks like as long as Aquarius is aware of this sort of focus on just the material world, that the real tea is in the emotional and spiritual aspects of what they're trying to achieve, that I think you'll be able to get there a lot faster. Or at least more smoothly, let's say, because it doesn't have to be fast. You just want to get the lumps out. All right, you don't want to throw up your fast food. This is greasy. There we go. I fixed my sign since the last video I did. All right, so I just changed my Facebook to also be CATtheMinion. It's the exact same stuff, but it's just got a different URL now that matches. Alright, so if you want to get a personal reading, you can email me, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. If you want to help support my work, you can level up at Patreon if that's still available to you, or you can hit that tip jar, paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. I've got prints on DeviantArt, merch on Cafe Press. I've got coloring books and a poetry book on Amazon. And I've got actual art items in my catalog. As soon as I can, I'm going to be making a new edition of the catalog because I've got to change the contact stuff in the back now too, especially. And I want to put a different cover on that one because it looks kind of shitty. So if if you're looking for all of this information, the list of readings, I don't know if I said it already because I wasn't listening, but in the description box of my infomercial video, and the thumbnail looks like this, I'm going to link it below in the Patreon description. The description box of my infomercial video has that complete list of readings, how much they cost, and all these other link contacts as well. If you're not already subscribed over on my regular YouTube at large, you can go ahead and do that. Like, share, subscribe, comment, check out the playlists tab, the discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.